The New South Wales Mid North Coast is beginning to assess the damage left behind from severe rain and floods this week. 5 people have died in the disaster, while a man who'd been missing for several days near Coffs Harbour was found safe last night. Early estimates by the SES indicate 10,000 properties have been damaged in the floods. And as we go to where 150 warnings remain in place, including 31 at emergency level, crews have conducted 1,300 rescues in the 24 hours to 5 a.m. this morning. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns has acknowledged the huge clean-up effort to come.
We'll be up on site soon, hopefully tomorrow, I think tomorrow, to help with the clean-up effort. We know this is a mammoth task ahead of us. We thank people for their patience. We want to particularly acknowledge the enormous courage that the local community has had to exhibit in the last few days. I said this yesterday, but I think it's worth repeating. We would have had hundreds of deaths if it wasn't for the bravery, the courage of emergency service workers in the last 72 hours. They've been incredible in the circumstances, but we need them. We would be in huge trouble without them. They saved a lot of lives.
The rain has finally eased. Beneath the blue sky, a murky inland sea. Remnants of the slow-moving trough that taunted the New South Wales Mid-North Coast for several days. Residents are beginning to assess the damage left behind by this record-breaking weather event. Many homes and businesses have been damaged.
The scary bit's over for most people. There's still helicopters coming in and out, so I'm assuming that there are still some evacuations, but now we're left with the really unsexy part, which is the clean-up.
The epicentre of this disaster is Taree. You don't have to look far to see the scale of the flood.
This is bad. We need people here. Like when the water recedes over the other side of the bridge and you start to see the livestock losses and the houses and people's livelihoods. Sorry.
In some parts of the city, the water dissipated as quickly as it came in.
We had a very big flood that most people will talk about in 2021. This was significantly bigger than that.
But it's not only residents counting the cost. The farming community is also bearing the brunt of this disaster.
It's an emotional situation, but we don't want to be endearing ourselves to being too emotive. But yes, it's just utterly astounding how bad it is.
We know that there is going to be some ongoing challenges, particularly for small business and primary producers, and the Commonwealth stands ready to assist with New South Wales to this task of recovery.
The sheer amount of water is posing a risk to major roads and rail routes. Supplies are scarce in a number of areas.
A real focus for us today remains on managing resupply for those residents that remain isolated and trying to re-establish those supply chains.
State Premier Chris Minns has been on the front line in Taree, thanking SES workers for their efforts this week.
The rest of New South Wales is behind the town. We know it's been incredibly tough. And I want to say we're going to do everything we can to get this town back on its feet as soon as possible.
50,000 people throughout the region have been left isolated. Some could be cut off for several more days. The federal government has activated disaster relief payments for affected residents.
That we know that this isn't a quick or easy operation, that we will be there for the long term and we will be there to support you in your hours of need.
Authorities are commending most locals for heeding the warnings, despite some choosing to risk their life.
I understand why people, now that the rain is stopped, will be up and about and moving around, but you cannot drive through floodwaters. It is taking up valuable emergency services personnel time and efforts and priorities that are needed elsewhere.
If this flood emergency has shown us anything, it's that locals on the Mid-North Coast are resilient.
You fight on and go forward.
As long as I can get myself back to just semi-normal even, I'm laughing.